Yes, if I didn't, DJ just said, Miss Baker, you love us, and if I didn't, then I wouldn't come back here every morning. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to review the jump start. If we are going to solve the following quadratic equation by factoring, who wants to tell me what they did first? Anybody? Okay, so you did your puzzle. All right, so they are going to multiply to give me what? -10, and they're going to add to give me 9. So I'm going to split my middle term into what two factors? 10 and -1. Very good. I think I'm going to make the -1 first because that just makes it easier when we're factoring. So that means we're going to split this into 2x squared minus 1x plus 10x and then minus 5. I'm going to write that over here so we have enough room. 2x squared minus 1x plus 10x minus 5. And so if I group my first two, what's my GCF there? X. The only thing you can factor out is an X, and that leaves me with 2x minus 1. What's my GCF of the second two? 5. So I'm going to factor out the 5, and that leaves me with 2x minus 1. So one of my factors is 2x minus 5, and the other factor is, so I'm solving the equation so by factoring. So now that I've factored it, I'm still not done. What do I have to do with both of those? Set them equal to 0. We're going to set that equal to 0. So we're going to say that we have 2x minus 1 equals 0, x plus 5 equals 0, add 1, 2x equals 1, divide by 2, x equals 1/2. Subtract 5 from both sides, and x equals -5. So I have two answers. My two answers are 1/2 and -5. We okay with that? All right, so who's going to sing for me? All right, sing away. Keep going. Perfect, Rachel. Thank you very much. Everybody clap. Yeah, y'all are real exciting this morning. So what's my A? A is 2. What's my B? 9. And what's my C? -5. Now, because these are rational numbers, they're not crazy, crazy long, ridiculous things, that lets me know that whatever square root I'm going to have is going to simplify. Okay? So I'm going to put this in -9 plus or minus the square root. My b squared is going to give me 81 minus 4 times 2 times -5 all over 4. 2 times -4 times 2 is -8, right? And -8 times -5 is going to be +40, right? So we're going to have 81 plus 40, which is going to give me what? 121. Why do I love 121? Because it's the square root of 11. So now I've got -9 plus 11 over 4 and -9 minus 11 over 4. -9 plus 11 is going to give me 2, and 2 over 4 is 1/2. -9 minus 11 is going to give me -20, and -20 over 4 gives me my -5. So it checks. You also can put this in your calculator and look for what? Where it crosses the x-axis, right? Our roots, our zeros, our solutions, and our x-intercepts are all the same. All right, number 3, we're going to divide. And so I'm a synthetic girl. I don't know about you, but I'm going to divide synthetically. What goes on my shelf? -2. Then I'm going to do 4, 2, -8, 0. Thank you. Y'all just made my morning. It is a 0 because we don't have a constant. So we bring down the 4 and we get -8. We bring down the -6 and we get 12. And then we get 4 and we get -8. -8's my remainder. So my answer, if this is an x to the third, I'm going to start with x squared. So it's 4x squared plus 4. However, I'm going to put plus -8 over x plus 2, but if you put minus, that's fine. I hope we're really starting. Guys, these are your ace in the hole questions. You got to get them. You see something like this anywhere in life, not just MSL, SAT, ACT, college entrance exam. These are the ones you got to get right. Okay. So we have been talking about graphing our cosine and our sine functions. So if you guys want to grab your graph paper, we are going to go back into looking at our period change, our amplitude change, and reflections about the x-axis. I like sine better, so today we're going to start with the sine of x. I don't know why. I think my brain, I guess because of SOHCAHTOA, I always like sine better than cosine. I go to it first. I want you to sketch in your sine of x, please. So we start where? 0. Sine starts at 0, 1, 0, -1, 0. Miss Little, as I've been saying all week, I tell them that this needs to become part of their soul. I'm sure you agree. All their basic sine and cosine need to become part of their soul. Like it can never go away. If we have our basic, yes ma'am. Yeah, I want you guys to sketch in your sine. I purposely am having you sketch your basic sine and cosine every single time so that we can move it from short-term memory or no memory at all into long-term memory. You need to do this over and over and over and over. Maybe that's what the homework will be. If you don't behave, then you have to graph the sine of x 10 times and the cosine of x 10 times. Well, then we're all going to behave, right? Okay, so now if I want to look at an amplitude change, I am going to put a number in between the equals and my function. So something such as 2 sine of x. Please make a note that this is an amplitude change. And what is your amplitude? What's your amplitude equal to, guys? 2. It's that height of the maximum. Amplitude is asking for the distance, so they're going to try to trick you. If they put a -2, my amplitude is still 2. It is the absolute value of that number in front of the function. So now, do zeros change when we have an amplitude change? No. So we go 0. Where do I go next? 2. Back to 0, down to -2, and back up to 0. -2, 0, 2, 0. This is our y equals 2 sine of x. Will you turn the lights out? Do you mind? I think it might help. Some people are squinting. I think it might help. No. They'll make it. Not to worry. All right, so now let's look at another example. If I have you graph, this is a second graph, move to another graph, please. Y equals the cosine of x. Dot in, I want this in a dotted line, dot in your basic cosine of x. So where does cosine start? 1, 0, -1, 0, 1. I go in the opposite direction. Oh, yes, it is. Thank you. So we have our basic cosine, and now we're going to look at what happens. I'm going to change the amplitude again. I want to graph y equals -3 cosine of x. Now, this is not just an amplitude change. What else do I have going on here? What's that negative do? It reflects across the x-axis. So first we need to say that our amplitude is going to be equal to what? Is it 3 or -3? Just 3. Amplitude is always a positive number. Our amplitude is 3. We deal with the negative, Robbie, by saying that it is reflected across the x-axis. Well, if we're normally at 1 and we multiply that by -3, it's going to start at -3. Yes. We're going to go from -3, but if you multiply 0 by -3, we're still at 0. +3 from the negative, 0, and -3, all the way back down. So we got to go to 0. We go up to +3, 0, and down to -3. So that actually has two different things going on. You got to make sure you take care of the negative, and then you got to make sure you take care of the 3. I'm going to make two 15-minute videos. So while I'm saving this one, go ahead and graph y equals the sine of x on the next one, please.